today, right now, we're talking about history of violence. Finish your drink. Jude, finish your drink. And then
We're still talking.
history of violence.
Fuck.
I don't know. 2005. It's going to be a fun movie to talk about. Are you done drinking, Jude?
Does it matter?
No. Go ahead. Take it away. What is this movie
I
all
can
about?
drink and talk at the same time.
Oh, God.
2000. No, I'm kidding. 2005, History of Violence. Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour, 36 minutes. Had a budget of $32 million. What do you think this brought in?
That's it? 32 million? I don't know. Probably 54. I don't remember this being very popular.
B?
Again, I don't think it did well. So maybe it broke even. 32 million.
$61 million.
Wow.
Yeah, so it almost doubled its budget.
Nice. Okay. What's it all about?
All right. Tom Stahl runs a diner and loves his family. Joey Cusack is the super murdery brother of Philly crime boss William Hurt. Stahl is Cusack. Cusack is Stahl. When the man in black comes to Tom's small town for a reckoning, the man Joey was in Philly collides with the man Tom is today. In order to protect his family from the crime lord brother who now knows he's alive, he drives back to Philly for a beer and to make peace. When his plan backfires, he dusts off his old killing skills and then heads back to Millbrook for some meatloaf with his wife and kids who are now terrified of him. Discuss.
No, they're not terrified of him. They're into it.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Will they bang on the staircase?
Dude, okay, first off, listen.
I said wife and kids.
There's two things I need to get off my chest here.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, Viggo Mortensen does a lot of sex scenes in these movies this week. All right. Every single one of them are weird. They're the most awkward fucking sex scenes I've ever seen in any movie in my life.
The worst sex scene was the one of him and his cheerleader wife.
Yeah, weird.
That was so fucking weird. Immediately, it happens like 5 minutes into the movie, and I was like, "This is." I'm like embarrassed for this movie because it's so fucking weird.
They did not have a good sex coach or whatever they're called.
Intimacy coach.
Because it's very strange, awkward sex scenes in this movie.
She's like, "We didn't get to be teenagers together.
Ugh.
Just stay right there." And she comes out in a cheerleader outfit, and immediately she like lifts her skirt up. She's like, "Hey, look at this pussy," and it's so weird. We're along for the fucking ride, and
There's no cut.
I did not want that.
The camera stays like on the edge of the bed, just watching them, and I'm watching. I'm like, what are they? Are they doing this for real? And it's like,
and Viggo's character is like, I don't remember this in high school.
And like the whole time they're doing cringy things like saying, "Ooh, you're naughty."
Oh my God,
I am naughty.
The dialogue
You're
is...
my daddy. My parents are in the next room, and I'm like, I don't want to be a part of this.
So
it's fucking weird.
There's that scene, and there's a scene in the next movie
Dude.
which we'll talk about, which is even more awkward.
It's so
get there.
weird.
But we'll
It's
get there.
there.
But there's another thing in this movie. At the very beginning of this movie, all right, before we even see Viggo, right? There's a scene in the movie where the bad dudes that start this movie off that he kills in the diner, where they're at a hotel. Okay, they don't want to pay for the room, and people have seen what they look like. So one guy goes in and he kills everybody in the lobby,
As you do.
as you do, right? Because they're on the
you're low
lam
on
criminals.
cash.
They go full dusk till dawn.
Then he comes back and he goes, "You did it?" Yep. And say, "Hold on, I got to get a drink." So the other fucking guy goes back into the hotel lobby room, right?
Office, whatever.
And he knows people are dead. The other guy killed everybody. So what does the guy do? The guy touches every fucking thing that he can put his fingers on in the building, in the house. The book, the countertop, the glass, his fingerprints are all over the place. Terrible criminals. It took me out of it.
Really?
Immediately.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was weird, man. If you go back and you watch that scene, you're going to laugh. Because the guy goes in there knowing people are dead, knowing it's a crime scene, knowing this shit went down to get a glass of water, and he literally touches everything in the
thing
room.
is that they're not very good criminals.
It's,
That's kind of the point.
it's just awful. It's so dumb. It's just like,
well, unless his
nothing
finger
to say about murdering the little girl.
But listen,
On top of
what
that,
you don't know
was just
because
terrible.
you're not in the mob is that you don't have fingerprints. They burn them
Yeah,
off
it was
when
just
you
hilarious.
come of age. And it's like if you, some people have a bar mitzvah. The mob has the burning of the fingerprints.
Yeah.
I'm making this all up.
I know.
Yeah. I didn't really realize that, but
Go,
they did
when you
murder.
go back and watch it, you'll laugh.
They shot a child.
Yes,
Yeah.
they did.
As the movie started out real
Yes,
dark.
they set up that these people are
He's
shitty.
like, shh, it's okay. It's totally okay. I'm just gonna put this gun against your.
Yeah. It's just that kind of stuff just completely took me out of the movie. It was weird, man. It was just
I've never seen this movie before. This is my first watch.
yeah, me too.
I was totally expecting like a early version of John Wick or something like that. Like history of violence. This man who lives in a small town who has a history of being this badass, murder assassin.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. That's not really what we got. Like,
No.
not at all. It was kind of weird. And
Can I tell you something?
you can tell me anything you
I
want.
hated the fuck out of this movie.
Did you
Yeah.
really?
I hated it the
yeah.
whole way.
Whoa.
I hated it the whole fucking way. Oh my god, I almost hit you really hard.
I'm with you.
From the awkward sex scene to the very end, I was like, this is horrible. This whole movie is fucking horrible. I hate it.
It
I
ends
hated
horribly.
his son.
Yeah. Oh, his son was
Yeah, I hated his wife. I hated. Oh my god, I hated his brother. William Hurt is the most nonsensical, non-believable fucking
Mob
mob
boss.
boss brother. What was he trying to accomplish? Everything he did was like super exaggerated and like insane.
Okay.
So he got William Hurt. He got a Best Supporting Actor nomination for that role.
No
Terrible.
shit. All right, so we gotta explain this a
Yeah,
little bit.
he was in it for less than 10 minutes.
I'm
was
so
awful.
angry right now.
So Viggo Mortensen's character, who goes by the name
Tom
John-
Strong.
Tom Stahl,
Yeah.
gets
When he's not Joey Cusack.
gets confronted by an old nemesis of his, and they call him out as being Joey Cusack.
Well, let's set it up really quick first. So the guys I talked about in the beginning, they need money, so they go to Tom's diner to rob it,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and he ends up killing both of them, and he makes the news.
Headline news, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, his face is all over
and
the
so
place.
so then
This
his
stupid fucking small town
Yeah,
where
so-
nothing
right.
happens. They're like, this is a big deal. And he's like, how about if we don't?
so this sets up how people
Find out
back in
about him.
Philly see him on the news and stuff, and
You should have gone
that
further.
that sets everything up.
Yeah.
So
And he gets confronted. He gets called out for being the person who he actually is. And then,
Mm-hmm.
as the series events go, these guys don't leave them alone. They threaten his family. He ends up murdering them all, which
Mm-hmm.
is my favorite scene in the movie. Although it's not great, it was very tense.
When he murders them all in front of his house or
Yes.
at his
Mhm.
brother's house?
In his front of his house.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like that one.
I like
too.
that scene, and
Yeah.
I finally like his.
And Ed Harris plays the guy from Philly.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's
Man in Black.
awesome.
Yeah.
arguably the best role in the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
I think.
Yeah, I agree
Mhm.
with you on that one. So the kid, like early on, the kid's getting bullied. He's kind of like a weakling, and his father's always like very passive. Oh, don't fight him. We don't solve problems with violence. And then it hits the kid, which is freaking stupid. But
Yeah, I hated everything. All of the whole
The
like,
relationship
side
with his family,
storyline
yeah.
with like the kid getting bullied in school. It didn't make any sense. It didn't go anywhere, and it was stupid, and I hated it.
yeah,
Yeah, they
Totally
were
agree.
just with his kid. They were just setting up that is it Tom Stahl?
Tom Stahl. Yeah,
Tom Joey. He
Joey Tom.
Joey Tom. He has
JT.
a trigger buried in him
Uh-huh.
that he has turned off. That trigger gets turned on. He's a completely different psychopath murdering killer.
Mhm.
And how I picked up with that with his son is that his son has that same thing.
Mhm.
It's just buried deeper, and he finally got pushed to his limit.
Oh, okay.
And then he went
I don't hate
he went a
that.
little crazy. And that's
Okay.
where they were making the connection with him and his son.
What I
I
didn't
think
like.
if you had directed this movie, I might have liked it more.
Yeah.
What I didn't like is that the son like resented the father. Like, what are you gonna do? Shoot everybody?
Yeah, they
Like, he was
went in
being
a
a
weird spot.
putz about
They went
it.
to a weird
We don't
place.
fight people in this family. No. We,
We just
Shoot it.
Just
I'm like,
fucking kill
shut
him.
up, dude.
Get
He
the
saved your
fuck
life.
out of
yeah,
here.
yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. The son was so unlikable
Mhm.
that any of that little character development that you just brought up,
Well, that's
completely washed
that's
away.
what I took out of it.
Yeah, but I totally get it. I agree with you. But it was washed away by this
Mhm.
character's like obnoxious, annoying attitude.
I guess you could call that bad directing or writing.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
So, Kadish, we all three not really like this movie. Can you tell us why in like a professional Hollywood
Wait,
who
who picked it?
I think
It wasn't me.
I did.
I didn't pick
picked it
any of
because I knew Viggo was in it and I'd never seen it before.
Okay.
So it's my fault.
A very
Fuck
scientific
you.
method.
Fuck you. Go ahead, Kadish. What did you think about this movie and why do we all hate it so much?
So I went to see this movie when it came out in theaters because it is directed by David Cronenberg. And David Cronenberg is a very famous director in the sense that like he kind of came out from like schlocky horror, and became like a big kind of like art house guy where he was making like these serious films like this one, History of Violence. And it's actually based off of a graphic novel. And up to the point where Ed Harris gets killed, it's very faithful to the graphic novel. And then it goes off in a completely different direction. And the kind of moral of the story here from Cronenberg, who hates violence, he basically says that like violence is the key to the destruction of family. And the ending of the movie, when Viggo comes back home and he sits down with his family and his wife like has like a tear down her cheek and stuff like that, the idea is that the family has been shattered in such a way where it like they're going to be together, but it's never going to be like it was. And so like he had like a very specific message that he wanted to send with this movie, and it doesn't resonate with everyone, but I actually think that this is a very interesting film. It's the violence is very realistic and graphic, and that moment where Ed Harris finally gets Viggo to admit that he's this guy that he's been accusing him of being since the beginning was just like really cool. It was a very chilling turn where he's like, I should have killed you in Philly, you know? And originally Harrison Ford was going to be in the lead role in this.
As Viggo, instead of Viggo?
Instead of Viggo.
Yeah. And then
that would have been interesting.
And then when Harrison Ford passed, they were going to get Thomas Jane to do it. And, and then Thomas Jane passed. And so Viggo kind of stepped in.
I feel like, and this is probably sacrilegious to a lot of people, but I feel like Thomas Jane and Viggo Mortensen are interchangeable in a lot of things.
Who's Thomas? I gotta look his name up.
Well, Viggo is a much better actor than Thomas Jane.
I agree. But they look so similar.
Yeah, well, Thomas Jane, he's in the first season of The Expanse. He was in The Mist, and he was Hung. Also, he was the lead actor in HBO's Hung, where he played a male prostitute.
He doesn't look anything like Viggo.
I don't think so either. I don't know what Jude's smoking.
I'm talking about dicks.
Okay. I got you. Yeah, totally.
They got the bulbous head. Yeah, totally. It's a Peacemaker reference.
Oh shit.
Okay. But anyway,
you went too far, Kadish.
that's where the line is drawn. The bulbous headline. Okay. Right.
I'm so into myself right now.
We'll get there, Jude. Calm down.
Anyway, like for being based off of a graphic novel and being a David Cronenberg movie and starring Viggo Mortensen, having like very in your face, like hardcore depictions of violence, I thought this movie was pretty decent. The two sex scenes are very awkward. You got the cheerleader scene, then you got the sex scene on the stairway. And
I understood the sex scene on the stairway. That was like high intense emotion.
No,
but the cheerleader one was just like awkward and like that's fine if that's what you want to do, but I don't want to watch it.
Well, Cronenberg actually asked his stunt coordinator if they needed to put padding down on the stairs for Maria Bello.
Yes, you do.
And the stunt guy was like, I've never heard of padding for a sex scene before. But there's a scene where like after that happens where she has like bruises on her back and like you see it, and they actually had to put makeup on her to cover up all the bruising.
Oh my God.
Because like she just got
those are wood stairs.
That's terrible. So we got to talk about it because we brought it up.
She was into it.
Sex on stairs?
Sex on the stairs, not a good idea.
No,
never do sex on stairs. That's a bad thing. They did it in Family Man, and it wasn't great. You remember that? And then they did it in this movie, and I was like, that looks so uncomfortable. Like
it is.
Yeah, I could completely not understand why they. And then for like I understand it because it's intense. I don't get that. When you're like really pissed off at somebody, and you're like, you lied to me my whole life. We've got kids together, and now you're some freaking mobster assassin. That's not the moment to be like, oh my God, you're still hot.
Well, like, she's into it. That's why I say she's into it.
You think she's into her husband being?
I do. I think it turned her on. The whole thing.
I'm going to step in as the ambassador of estrogen.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I understand the dynamic between a couple who, like, they're in it, and as far as she's concerned, like we're stuck together, and I'm so pissed off at you, and I'm scared, and I'm having a lot of emotions, and I felt like the first sex scene was very forced and like, ooh, I'm gonna make this sexy. And that was very forced. And like, it felt like they were a couple who's very kind of like, for lack of a better word, boring. And so when all of this shit happens and all of these emotions hit these humans, they love each other, and she's so furious that she feels like she hates him, but at the same time she loves him, and he's pulling at her and it's violent. And then all of a sudden I understand the emotion of just having so much within your body emotionally that you don't know what to do about it, so you have to get it out, and then you fuck.
Yeah, and
I'm not being sarcastic or silly or like making a joke out of it or anything, but like I got that. Like sometimes your emotions are so fucking heightened that you have to get them out of your body, and the only thing that makes sense is
sex on a staircase.
putting it aside with the person that is your person, and just fucking getting it out.
That's called angry sex, and it's great.
well, also the minute that they're done, she gets up and Viggo kind of reaches out for her, and she's like, "No,
Yeah,
Don't touch me.
don't touch me."
the emotions have come their fruition, and as soon
Yeah,
as
they
it was
did.
over, like she had that out of her system. The roller coaster ride that was up on the hill of these emotions, and now that it's over, she's deflated and she's sickened. I got that.
That's fascinating. I thought the cheerleader thing was way more believable than this freaking
Oh my
staircase.
No,
chick.
they were
God.
both scenes are cringy.
I
as
mean,
fuck.
they're both, I guess, believable, but I don't fucking want to watch you role play with your mate.
It was weird.
What did you guys think of the final scene where Viggo goes to William Hurt's house, who plays his brother,
I hated
and
all of that.
basically kills everyone?
I thought it was too much.
I
over the top.
liked the killing. I hated William Hurt. William Hurt was so unbelievable. I cannot fucking believe he won an award for this.
He was almost comical.
He was
Yeah.
he was nominated.
He was almost comical as like a mob boss because he's like he was mad at his
he was a cartoon character.
Yeah, he was mad at his henchman because he couldn't. He's like, you had one. Literally, I think he said you have one job and you like you're such a freaking doofus.
He was like, "How do you fuck that up?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like a goofy moment, and then they're so dumb that Viggo's able to like trick them into leaving, and then he kills everybody.
William Hurt, he sees that his brother has resurfaced.
Yeah.
And so he calls him up, and Viggo has to go to his house in Philly. And he's got like this big mansion, and he invites him in, and it comes down the stairs, and it looks like everything's hunky dory. He's hugging him, saying like, "Welcome back, brother. I thought you were dead."
Like mobsters do.
Yeah, and takes him into his immaculately decorated study, and they have like a little exchange, and then like his henchmen try to kill him, and then Viggo just goes off and murders everybody, including his brother.
Yeah.
And then goes home and has dinner.
Yeah.
I really did like the little scene with his daughter who brings him a plate at the dinner table.
Yeah.
I thought that was sweet.
Yeah.
I was like, because she doesn't know what's going on.
No,
She doesn't
she's a little
understand.
girl.
Yeah.
She was sweet.
And it was that family moment where like, no matter how jacked up things can be, we still are a family.
And like the horror on his wife's face that's like, you are not the man I married. I don't know what to do with this. We have 2 children and a life, and now I am trapped.
Well,
End scene.
It was funny because the minute that William Hurt came down the stairs, Jude was like, "Oh, wouldn't it be funny if this was an episode of Mythic Quest?"
I thought the same thing. I'm like, where's CW at? Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's do final thoughts on History of Violence. What'd you think, V?
I didn't like this movie.
No?
I thought it was really silly.
How many stars did you give it?
2 stars, I guess. Yeah,
Okay.
2.
All right. No final thoughts?
No,
nothing?
not really. It just wasn't set up good from the get-go, and it was just awkward, and the scenes didn't really run together for me, and I didn't really buy into the characters. And
Okay.
you guys, from the ending I took away is that the family was like, "Oh, cool, we're a mobster family now." Let's go. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm not into it. I didn't like it.
All right, Jude, final thoughts.
Come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding.
Yeah.
I hated this movie almost from the get-go, and then it ended, and I was like, that was a complete waste of time, and I hated it. If anybody ever tries to make me watch it again, I will probably get violent. I guess it's not bad enough to be a 1-star crap fest, but it's not much above. So for me, it is 1.5 cheerleader sex scenes out of 5.
Okay. Katie, how about you?
So there's lots of things that I like about this movie, especially Ed Harris's performance. Like he steals every scene that he's freaking in. He's got like that dead eye makeup going on. And the first scene where he kind of confronts Viggo in the character's diner, while he's sitting at the counter, he's not wearing pants. Like when they were filming it, like Ed Harris just was in his tighty whities at the counter, and he was doing everything he could to make Viggo crack up. And Viggo like ruined so many takes because he just couldn't look at Ed Harris without laughing. And the two of them actually became pretty good friends on this movie. And it was just kind of interesting to see like their dynamic in this film kind of like evolve. And David Cronenberg, you know, he's a very talented director in my book. He's made some really messed up movies. This movie, I remember when I saw it in the theater, I was kind of disappointed with how it turned out. Upon rewatching it, that disappointment hasn't gone away. So to me, it's a solid 2 stars out of 5.
Okay. There's things I liked about this movie. I'm not really sure if Viggo Mortensen was the right cast for this, because he always seemed reluctant. When he was like the pleasant dad from the small town, it worked, but as soon as he went and turned into Joey, like I didn't see a transformation. Like he never went to that like dark part of his psyche and like turned into the freaking psycho killer. I never saw that. I just saw like a reluctant dad who was like kind of good at killing people.
I disagree, because I
Really?
feel like that first scene where he leaps over the counter and he shoots like the bad guys. Immediately, like I've never watched this before. I didn't know what the story was. I had no background information, and immediately I was like, he's somebody else. So like the whole time before, like up until he was like, I should have killed you in Philly, I was like, he's Joey, right? He's Joey. Is he Joey? He's Joey. He's totally Joey. So like I don't find fault with anything that he did in this movie. I hate the movie. I don't hate him.
Okay. I felt like he could have gone darker. I felt like he could have been a little bit more of a menace. Bring a little bit more John Wick out of him, you know?
Okay.
Like you came to my family and you freaking came over here and ruined my life. Freaking murder you all. Like I wanted some anger.
I wanted some like you know the actor who played Two-Face in the Batman movies?
Aaron Eckhart.
Eckhart. I wanted to see a flip.
Yeah. That's what, a more noticeable change.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right?
because he went from Harvey Dent, the lawyer, the guy, and then he goes like, "Were you freaking?" You know, he starts screaming at people.
I wanted to see that.
He didn't fall into a vat of
Right,
chemical waste.
but I feel like he could have there could have been like a switch flip.
Yeah.
And Joey come out.
Yeah.
You
I
know
can
what
see
mean?
that. I can see that.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't hate this movie. I had fun with it. I do agree that both sex scenes super cringy. Weird. I don't know why the freaking staircase thing was even really necessary. So it's probably
It's just where that violence happened to happen.
It's 2 stars. Not great, but I didn't hate it. Was it William Hurt? Yeah, William Hurt was kind of comical in this
Apparently
movie. He's a mobster. I guess.
The minute he started speaking, Jude cracked up. She was like, "Are you serious right now?"
I hated him so much.
She's like, "Who wrote this dialogue?"
And like, who told him to like do that stuff with his face? Like the whole time he was just like, bug eyes, squint eyes, bug eyes, squint eyes.
He won an
Furrow.
award. He won an award.
No, he was nominated
for
an Academy Award for Best
Was
Supporting
it a
Actor.
Razzie? Is that the
All right,
award?
that's it. 2-star movie for History of Violence. I don't know if you want to check it out. I guess you can, but I wouldn't say go.
Don't waste your time.
I'd say just
Pass.
Pass.
Yeah.